Hello, everyone. Welcome to another backstage interview from the Metals Investor Forum. I'm Gwen Preston, and I'm joined today at this moment by Joseph Hebert of Outcrop Silver and Gold. It's silver first, right? I know you just changed the name.
That's correct.
Yes. And as it should be, for sure, since that is the purpose of what you're doing. Let's dive right into it. So I think the thing that crops up most for me when discussing Outcrop, answering questions about Outcrop, is this perception that it's a bit complicated because there's several different chutes, and those chutes are within veins that have different orientations, like different dips. Some are quite shallow and some are quite steep. But I know from talking to you over the last year that you spend a lot of time thinking about the mineability of the discovery that you're delineating, as anyone should, because if it's not mineable, there's no point drilling it. So why don't you walk us through what you see when you look at the ounces that you're delineating there, and why you don't really think that it's particularly complicated?
Well, I would say is there's an overwhelming number of high grade or high angle chutes versus low angle chutes. It's basically 4-2 right now. The high angle chutes are very predictable. They have almost the same dimensions of about 250 meters by 300 meters. You might look at it, say, on our 3 most recently discovered high angle chutes from north to south. You have San Juan, Roberto Tovar, San Antonio. Okay, think of that as you can almost think they're segmented into 3 chutes, but only within 1,200 meters. So if you put an adit on a chute that was 750 or 1,250 meters long, you would still hit the same amount of volume of grade as you would on about a 750 meter contiguous chute or a 900 meter contiguous chute. And then also the occurrence of the chutes is really a large inverted Z. So on the northwest side of the property, you have a big high angle chute called El Dorado. Mm-hmm. It verges into 2 low angle chutes called Megapozo and La Ivana. And then you resume the direction on going south again. Mm-hmm. And so the spacing on those 2 linear or configurations of high angle chutes is only less than 1 kilometer. Yeah. And then you have those 2 things spaced about 1 kilometer apart. So it's a big Z, but as we go north and as we go south, what we're going to probably see is a periodicity of the high angle chutes, and they'll be predictable. They won't be contiguous, but you'll be mapping them in the exact same plane.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, yeah, I mean, when you spend some time looking at how proximal they all are, like you say, then when you layer onto that, the likelihood of discovering more based on the periodicity that you were just describing, and that has worked out darn well so far. I mean, that is how you've made the discoveries that you've made so far. Then it comes together into a mining plan that is not dissimilar to lots of high grade vein type mine plans. And within that, I mean, let's talk. The other big thing I think when it comes to high grade underground mines is dilution. So let's talk about the mineability, the grade and mineability of what you're discovering, because I know you spend a lot of time thinking about that as well.
Well, there's 2 issues. One is that significant parts of the high angle chutes and the low angle chutes, I'm thinking up to 20%. There are packages of veins that can be composited together. Right. The best we have is 18 meters of 450 grams. That's going from vein wall to vein wall, taking between it. What we talked about in the news release just the day, I believe, was 5.8 meters of 300 or 400 grams. The other thing is that let's say the mining conditions are such that you have to do a straight line dilution. Our overall average of every significant intercept probably averages between 0.75 and 0.85 meters at 450 grams equivalent silver per ton. So if you just take that straight line dilution to the average shrinkage stope, which is the prevalent mining method at Silvercorp's Ying mine, straight line dilution of 1,450 grams is still 906 grams. If you dilute to 1.8 meters, which is sort of a minimum mechanized with OEM mining equipment available anywhere, you're still at 604 grams. If you take it all the way down to 2.2 meters, which really is a not uncommon mechanized stope width, you're still looking at 494 grams per ton, grams equivalent silver per ton. So you want to preserve, there's a narrow vein advantage, there truly is, but until it works, people are a little bit hesitant. You know, it's called race mining. So we would imagine we're gonna try not to dilute those areas where we have, I mean, literally 8,000 grams equivalent silver per ton. We'll try to race mine that, which is a method of slower mining where you mine the ore selectively to the waste, and you have about a 12 to 15% dilution. That's also done by Silvercorp. Have I said yet that Outcrop Silver and Gold is exploring what Silvercorp is mining in the Ying mine?
Right.
But, so there's grade gives you such a tremendous operating advantage that you can mine it in various ways. You can dilute it if you want to and maintain a high production rate and low cost. And then the distributions of the chutes, at least locally in Santa Ana, are segmented, but segmented such in that they have a regular space and can be conventionally mined.
Yeah. So you have options, and the numbers that you just ran through basically support that the various options work. And so then you choose which ones work best for the various parts as you develop a mine plan, which is of course getting a little bit ahead of ourselves since
yes,
we haven't defined ounces yet, but
this is bar napkin.
You got to look where the puck, you got to go where the puck is going, right? Not where it is right now.
Well, at the exploration stage, you always have to think about potential because it's selective opportunity, where you need to spend your money. And that's one of the reasons we're convinced that Santa Ana is going to pay for Outcrop and is going to pay for our investors.
So let's talk about investors just for a moment. I think, it's interesting when you look, I think, I was chatting with a mining engineer yesterday, and he was talking about how I had brought up Vizsla silver, and he was talking about how he didn't really like it. It's so pinchy. And then I stopped and I was like, do you like any vein systems? And he paused and he was like, no. I was like, well, there's our starting point. So anyways, there's people out there who absolutely will hesitate on vein systems because they are what they are, right? They pinch, they swell, they have chutes, the grade variability is high, that's fine. But when they work, they really work. And so Vizsla is a good example of a stock of a project where the market thinks that those chutes are developing the scale and width and grade that's going to work. Now, a bunch of the chutes at Santa Ana are getting to be somewhat similar. I mean, I'm sort of serving that to you on a platter, but I'm sure you would agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, look at Napoleon. Yeah, I think the latest is 950 meters by 4 meters by roughly 300 meters.
And even that 950, the one end, a few hundred meters are pretty low grade. So really it's 700 meters. That's
right. Okay. Yeah. So if you look at San Antonio, Roberta Tovar, and San Juan, think of our section pasted on their section. We would extend a little further. We would have almost the exact same depth projection on each, and it would be segmented in 3 parts. Yeah. But I mean, so you can't mine through those parts, but you can certainly develop through those parts, simultaneously. And then if you just compare bar napkin volumes, I mean, you can only do it one way. It's strike by dip by meters width by specific gravity by grade. Okay, so do theirs. go look at their section, take your ruler and do it, and then go look at our section that we'll be putting out. You know, it's you have the disadvantage. You have multiply the strike times the depth by quite a bit narrower width than Panuco on average, which is 4 meters, but at 3 times the grade.
Yeah.
So the products start looking very similar.
Right.
I mean, at least I would say probably just the rough calculations. XX would be, you know, comparing us to them, those 2 shoots to them would be about 50-60% of metals. But then you got to remember we have 3 more shoots that we're not even counting in that. So, you know, we just have to get our message better out about that there is actually an advantage to narrow veins that are extremely high grade.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. So that's partly a communications thing, and that's partly just a continuing with the results thing, right? Because the results end up filling that picture in on their own.
Yeah.
Well, I'll leave you to it. Get back out there and find us.
Okay. I cannot wait. It's my favorite thing to do in my whole life. So no problem.
Is to wait for numbers to come in on your WhatsApp or something?
Well, to get the assays, but then also just to be out there watching the drill rig too. So
right. Yeah, for sure. Well, hopefully you can do that soon. Thanks for taking the time to run us through some of those questions. And I'm sure we'll catch up with you again soon, Joe.